Welcome to Dreamforge, where every tale touches the soul. This is the story of a mother whose silence spoke louder than screams. The sky was still dim when Sakina stepped out of her one-room home in the slum quarter of Gulshan Colony. She wore her old beige dupatta, pinned tightly under her chin, and walked with the quiet determination of a woman who had forgotten what it meant to rest. The world was only beginning to wake, but she had been awake for hours, heating tea with bored gas, stitching together a broken strap on her daughter's sandal, and folding yesterday's washed clothes still damp, still smelling of soap and sorrow. The city moved too fast, the buses honked, men shouted, carts rattled down the streets, but none of that noise entered her bones. She had long stopped reacting to chaos. Her mind was always elsewhere, counting coins, calculating meals, worrying if Noor had enough notebooks, or if the landlord would knock again. The past was a luxury, the future was uncertain. All she had was today, and today, like every other, demanded survival. Sakina worked as a cleaner in a small private school where most of the students wore polished shoes, brought packed lunches in colorful boxes, and spoke English fluently. She served tea to the teachers, mopped the tiled corridors, and picked up bits of glitter and gum left behind by children who would never understand her world. Her 10-year-old daughter, Noor, studied in a nearby government school, a thin, delicate child with large eyes and a laugh that reminded Sakina of spring before it turned to winter. Noor never asked for much, she knew better, but a week ago, as they sat eating rice and lentils by lantern light, Noor had spoken softly, almost hesitantly, "Emmy, a broken bar-eyed, can I get a pink dress? Just something simple?" Sakina had smiled and nodded, "Of course, Beta," but her chest had ached. Even a simple dress was far out of reach. She hadn't told Noor that she hadn't been paid for the last 10 days, that the landlord had warned her of eviction if the rent wasn't cleared by next Friday, that her bangles were already sold, her stove worked only when the neighbor lent her gas, and all she had in the cupboard was a half-used sack of flour and 3 tea bags. Still, she had smiled. That was what mothers did. The days passed like sand through her fingers. It was only 3 days away now. The city shimmered with lights, banners, and laughter. Streets were alive with kola shops filled with sequin kurtas, tiny shoes, and stacks of glittering bangles. Everywhere she turned, there was the buzz of celebration, and in her heart, the dull weight of inadequacy grew. One afternoon after work, she stood outside a small clothing store. Inside, a row of pink frocks hung under white light, as soft and bright as dreams. One of them caught her eye, stitched in fine cotton, with lace on the hem and pearl buttons. Noor would glow in it. Sakina stepped inside. The shopkeeper, a heavy-set man with a receding hairline, looked up. "Yes." She pointed. "The pink one, how much?" 850 rupees. She hesitated. "Can I pay in 2 parts? I'll give 400 now, the rest after, right?" He frowned. "We don't do installments, please," she said. "My daughter, she doesn't have a dress. I'll bring the rest soon, I swear." He looked her over at her worn-out sandals, her tired eyes, her stitched camis. After a pause, he leaned closer. "Come back tonight, we can a broken bar make an arrangement." She didn't ask what he meant, she didn't need to. His smile said it all. Sakina stepped back, her heart twisting in quiet fury. She didn't shout, didn't curse, just turned and walked out of the shop, her dignity intact but her hopes bleeding. That night, she couldn't sleep. Noor lay beside her, curled into the blanket they both shared. Outside, someone played music, firecrackers cracked in the sky. Sakina sat awake, her hands trembling. She took out an old dupatta, pink, faded from sun and time. She unfolded it gently. It had once belonged to her mother, her wedding dupatta. She stared at it for a long time, then lit the lamp and pulled out her sewing box. Thread by thread, stitch by stitch, she began to transform the old cloth into something new. She worked all night, her back aching, her fingers pricked and raw, but by dawn, it was only a simple pink dress, hand-stitched, not perfect, but beautiful in its own quiet way. On night morning, Noor awoke to find the dress folded beside her. She gasped, "Emmy, a broken bar, is this for me?" Sakina smiled, happy-eyed. "Marion." Noor held it to her chest. "It's the most beautiful dress in the world." She didn't know it was made from an old dupatta. She didn't need to. All she saw was love. Sakina braided her daughter's hair, applied a dot of surma, and watched her twirl in the tiny space of their home. For a moment, just a moment, all the struggles faded. Outside, the world celebrated, but inside the room, something sacred bloomed. Later that afternoon, they went to the mosque together. Noor skipped beside her, proud of her dress. Children ran past them, showing off their new toys. Mothers smiled politely. Some looked at Sakina with thinly veiled pity, others ignored her entirely. After the prayer, the landlord found her in the crowd. "You haven't paid," he said bluntly. "I'll give you 2 more days, that's it." She nodded, her smile not breaking. "Thank you, Bye Sahab." As they walked back home, Noor spoke again. "Emmy, a broken bar, are we poor?" Sakina didn't answer at first. She took her daughter's hand gently and said, "No, beta, we just don't have much. But a broken bar, do we have enough?" She paused, then said, "We have each other, that's enough." The next morning, something unexpected happened. One of the school teachers, Miss Fardsana, had returned from abroad. She'd heard from other staff about Selena's dedication and how she never missed a day, how she stayed late without complaint. That day, she approached Sakina during tea break. "You have a daughter, don't you?" "Yes, madam." "Would you be interested in full-time work? We need a caretaker for our new preschool section, better pay. Plus a broken bar, we offer admission to staff children." Sakina stared at her, stunned. "You mean a broken bar and could study here?" "Yes, free of cost." Her throat tightened. She nodded quickly, tears building in her eyes. "Yes, yes, madam, thank you." Fartsana smiled warmly. "You've earned it, Sakina. Your silence speaks louder than most people's words." That night, for the first time in months, Sakina didn't have to count coins. She made sweet rice. Noor danced around the room. Their home was still small, their worries still lingered, but now, there was hope, and in a life built on quiet sacrifices, hope was a revolution. She had nothing but gave everything, and life, at last, listened to her silence. Thank you for watching Dream Forge, where every heartbeat tells a story.